So I was introduced to this guy named Warren Smith. It's him. We'll pull up his channel, get a little bit of info about him real quick. Mr. Warren Smith. Shut up. 307K subscribers. Warren Smith, the art of thinking critically. For more Secret Scholars content, use this link. Don't use that link. Don't do it. Warren Smith. So how was I introduced to Warren Smith? Well, it's this guy known as ZKS Productions. I stumbled across him late at night last night while my stomach was killing me, like actually strangling me or something. It was bad. But anyway, I was up late watching this guy because his video showed up on my feed. I'm like, what the f? You know, like I can give a little guy a chance. It's a great video. It's a great video. I don't know if he likes me. I don't know if he'll appreciate me platforming him because like I got a little bit of, you know, problematic juice, but hopefully he appreciates it. So ZKS Productions introduced me to this guy, Warren Smith. And so I decided I'm going to go ahead and review something that Warren Smith is reviewing. So it's a review of a review. And he's reviewing Bill Maher exposing, quote unquote, Bryan Cranston's crazy critical race theory. Now, from what I saw of Mr. ZKS Productions video is this guy makes dog shit arguments, like just bottom of the barrel, absolutely terrible. So I thought like, you know, usually I argue about like gay and trans stuff, but critical race theory, we can take that on. Let's see. This is from 13 days ago, by the way. You got to update your dictionary, man. Because it's not CRT anymore. We've moved on to the next abbreviation. It's DEI now. It's all about the DEI, okay? Go with the times. Anyway, let's start.
What happens when Bryan Cranston, the star of Breaking Bad, Walter White himself, sits down with Bill Maher to defend critical race theory in schools?
He sounds like we got Moist Critical at home, doesn't he? Here, listen again.
Walter White himself sits down with Bill Maher to defend critical race theory in
He kind of looks like we got Moist Critical at home too. This is discount Moist Critical without the beard and with white supremacist hair.
But you sound like you're more in the Hollywood woke camp, and I'm
not
that's
saying
fine.
that.
It doesn't mean we have to.
No,
like,
it's like it's
Hollywood
a human
woke camp. I'm Bill Maher and people like me, probably. I hope.
humanistic camp.
Now we know, because that's what we have today.
It's like it's a humanistic camp.
Now we
Sounds
know,
good.
because that's what we have today.
Our country.
There's something wrong with that. I know that like humanism is like some kind of sinful way of life for religious people, but like why? Like I'm a humanist, right? Before I claim that, let's make sure that like that's a good thing to be. Humanism is a philosophy, worldview, or life stance based on naturalism, the conviction that the universe or nature is all that exists or is real. So like atheism. Humanism serves for many humanists some of the psychological and social functions of a religion, but without belief in deities, transcendental entities, miracles, life after death, and the supernatural. Humanists seek to understand the universe by using science and its methods of critical inquiry, logical reasoning, empirical evidence, and skeptical evaluation of conjectures and conclusions to obtain reliable knowledge. Humanists affirm that humans have the freedom to give meaning, value, and purpose to their lives by their own independent thought, free inquiry, and responsible creative activity. That's enough for me. It seems like humanism is pretty cool and pog and fine. Just weird that he would be like against it on principle with no further argument or comment.
He still has not taken responsibility or accountability
for what?
For the history of the systemic racism that's in this country.
What should we do?
Oh, I love him. I love him. Why do like the best people play the roles of the worst people? You know, Walter White's such a slimy piece of shit, but Bryan Cranston is like a jewel. You know, a gem in a stack of coal.
More.
This is the question I ask, and I can never get an answer to it. Let's see if he can offer something.
For one thing, critical race theory, I think, is essential to be teaching.
It depends on what you mean by that.
Do you even understand what critical race theory is? Let's see.
I'm sure he does, right? They don't teach critical race theory in grade schools. What Bryan Cranston either means is that he thinks it's critical for critical race theory, so to speak, for critical race theory to be taught in colleges, which it is, or it's critical that children be taught what racism and slavery means, which it is. So he's right or he's right.
Teaching how the race trade and racism is systemic in everything we've done in government, in social.
You're doing great.
Activities.
Yes, it has been.
I mean,
I get what he means.
It's embedded.
What is the systemic racism? Can we identify?
Slavery? That was like, you know, a whole thing. We like bought people from Africa and like owned them and whipped them and, you know, did other such things to them. Unspeakable atrocities and horrific realities for people of color. Yeah, that was the systemic racism, man. Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot slavery magically went away. So like what happened was we freed the slaves and said, hey, black people, go yourselves. We're not giving you anything, even though we enslaved your parents' parents, and your parents' parents. You have nothing to go to, no place to go, no money to your name. Good luck, you. And then they gave rewards to the farmers because the farmers had to take the real brunt of the hit, if you think about it, because they're the ones who had to free their slaves and let their free workforce go. So now they had to treat people fairly and like give them like actual pay, or at least somewhat fairly. So another thing that they like to do for fun is, hey, black people, come on back. Well, you're free now, but you don't have a job or money or anything to go to. So let's make a deal, right? We're gonna make a little deal. You're gonna work for us just like you did, and we'll give you like 2 more cents than we did. And now you're our employees, right? There's your systemic racism. We never fixed that. We never made up for that. We never gave reparations for that.
You mean more what the 1619 book says, which is that it's just the essence of America and that we are irredeemable.
Yeah, and you have to have your own drinking fountain away from us, like filthy people. Like literally, like, oh, by the way, they did freedom from slavery. They did outlawing of Jim Crow laws. And then they were still, oh, you're equal now. Separate but equal. That was the big thing back then for Republicans and liberals, okay? For I should say conservatives and liberals. Like the moderate Dems back then were like, oh, I mean, like, listen, we got to be moderate here. You know, like these days, like they do for trans people is what they did for black people back then. We have to be like reasonable here. Maybe the blacks should have separate drinking fountains so that the whites don't feel so dirty being next to the black. Like that was like the moderate position back then. That was 50 years ago, man. So you want to talk about systemic racism? There it is.
That's just wrong.
It's so deeply embedded, you don't need to even provide examples because we can't see it. It's invisible. It's just
no examples to speak of. I forgot to mention that. There's no examples to speak of.
Consciously ingrained within us, according to this philosophy of critical race theory.
No, critical race theory does not say that white people have an inherent nugget of racism in their DNA. That's not what critical race theory says, okay? It says there is systemic racism that we all partake in. Even black people. Black people literally partake in it as well against other black people. Like when a black cop gets hired, it has been shown through studies. You can look this up through studies. Sam Cedar just had a researcher on that was studying this. Even black people will, like when they're in positions of power, like being a teacher or a police officer or what have you, will look at other black people, black children, whatever, and just suspect naturally that they will be the ones up to no good. It is so pervasive that even the people it affects the most, like, participate in it. Yes, systemic racism exists.
I don't understand it, but
Dipshit.
They are innately that way.
Innately?
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
No.
What have you been reading?
Oh, babe.
Listen to that again.
I need to
Wrong.
listen to that again.
Understand it, but
What have you been reading?
Oh, babe.
Listen to that again, though. Imagine the context was he was talking about pick a race other than white.
They don't understand it, but they are innately that way.
Innately?
Yeah.
I would use a different term. White people, again, are not innately born with racism in their hearts, okay? And I feel like if you were to actually be good faith and talk to him about this, Bryan Cranston, he would agree that, like, no, it's not in your DNA. What he means is, it's not like it's an inborn trait. It is societally taught to us, like I was just explaining. So when he says innate, what he really means is involuntary, okay?
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
It sounds racist. It sounds like he's reciting propaganda.
Not the anti-white racism. I forgot. I'm the real victim, guys. People who look like me.
Oh, no.
What have you been reading?
Oh, babe. Come on.
Is that white fragility or some bullshit like that?
No, it's not white fragility.
Well, that's the book.
Even
Please
teaching
explain.
our past
Please explain.
and being honest and owning up to who we are as a country in the history of it.
What would that look
True.
like, owning up to it, if it's not teach the past? If it occurred in the past, teach history. I agree with you on that.
Most schools.
It occurred in the past and we're still dealing with the ramifications in the present. You have to account for the fact that black women are 4 times more likely than white women to die during childbirth. Just as an example, I believe the wealth disparity is like white people as a whole proportionally have more wealth per person than black people by like a rate of 3 times. Somebody fact check me on that. I don't know for sure, but what I do know for sure is that white people make way the more money per person than black people do, like on average. Okay, these disparities exist. They're a reality, and the only ways that you can deal with them, there's 2 main ways: external factors or internal factors. The external factors would mean you believe in systemic racism. You must, because you have to account for the fact that black people are not there by their own fault. It is factors outside of them that affected that. Systemic racism. Okay, that's what that is. The other way that you can account for it is internal factors. It's the black person's fault. Black men leave their families. That's a good one, right? Black people spend all their money on they low-riders and fried chicken. Like, that's a good one, right? Like, that's what the racist does. They justify this shit by saying the black people are actually the ones at fault for their own disparities. It's disgusting, okay? You either have to acknowledge that systemic racism exists or you blame black people for their own suffering.
Are doing that. I mean, I'm sure there are ones in Texas that are not.
Look, in Florida, they want to do away with critical race theory.
As they should. No one should be teaching critical race theory. We shouldn't be teaching kids that they are inherently vile or subconsciously evil.
Nobody said
In
that.
a lot of other states.
Because sometimes it veers off
Yeah, the war on drugs, another great example. They literally planted crack cocaine in black neighborhoods.
into things that are really not appropriate in schools.
So how do you govern that?
If you're
How do you-
telling 5-year-olds
Like what?
What did he just say?
Go ahead.
How
No,
do
no,
you-
no. If you're telling 5-year-olds what? I want to hear it.
in schools,
So how do you govern that?
if you're
How do you-
telling 5-year-olds,
What did
If
he
you're
just
telling
say?
5-year-olds they're inherently racist.
How do you govern that?
So how do you govern
if
that?
you're
How do you-
telling
It's pretty easy to detect when critical race theory is occurring in the classroom. It's not difficult to govern.
Okay.
if you're
How do
telling
No, expand on that. How does he have 305,000 subscribers? He's such a loser. He's not even smart.
5-year-olds that you're either an oppressor or someone who was
Please, Bryan, I'm begging you, push back on this. You don't have to fall on the sword of telling 5-year-old white kids that they're oppressors, because that's not how that works. That's not how that works. I've never heard of a 5-year-old being taught that they are a white oppressor. It doesn't happen. Do not fall on that sword. Don't do it, man.
oppressed. You're introducing ideas about race that are inappropriate for kids that age who can't understand it.
Okay, so common sense would govern
Common sense
that.
is what's lacking
Common
in
sense.
this
Yeah.
country.
Shut the fuck up, Bill Maher.
I mean, the same thing with gender stuff. You know,
No! No! They brought trans people into it. Never fails, man. It never fails.
can they just be kids for a minute?
Right.
Okay.
And that's absolutely. And
Push
we
back!
have to find that time, that level of maturity when a
Push back, man. Have a spine. I love you, Bryan Cranston, and I know you mean well. Have a goddamn pair of balls and say, Bill Maher, you are full of shit. Okay? That is not what I said. Listen to me, you old bag of bones. Okay? Nobody likes you. Nobody likes you, and you suck. That's what you need to say.
when a child can understand
Understand what? What are you saying, though? That's the problem.
that at certain times
When a child can understand a child can understand racism. Like I would argue, probably like around 3 or 4 years old. 3 or 4 years old. I guarantee you. Ask a 4-year-old, hey, do you think it's fair that Sally, who has brown skin, gets $1, and Susie, who has white skin, gets $5 when they both do the same amount of work? Guess what that 3-year-old would say? No, that's not fair. No, that's not fair. I'll say 4 years old. 3 might be a little young. 4 years old. No, that's not fair. They both deserve $5 or $1. They should both be paid the same. They did the same amount of work. That's like pre-kindergarten shit. If you can teach that to a person who is 4 years old, then you can teach them the basic concept of racism.
in this country's history, there was a grave mistreatment of other human beings.
I think we get that.
That's not critical race theory. That's teaching history.
Well, no,
But like, listen, conservatives are also saying that like we should teach both sides of the race trade. So There's more than one way to teach history. You could, like, conservatives literally want to teach people that, like, the slave owners were the good guys. It's really that bad. It's like, no. If you think about it, like, they were actually, remember Ron DeSantis saying that, like, actually, if you think about it, like, black people were being taught, like, work skills. They were building their resumes for when they were finally freed by the white man, mind you, right? The white man is the ones who freed the black people. I mean, from who, we don't talk about that. But, like, Ron DeSantis was literally like, no, you don't get it. You don't get it, man. The blacks were actually benefiting quite a bit from our work program. It's, like, so... Like, yeah, there's more than one way to teach history. Let's teach it the correct way, please.
Oh, we don't get it. What do you mean you get it?
Really? You think that is not something that is now widely understood and agreed?
Yeah, it's definitely not widely understood.
That America
Thank
has
you.
a sorry...
I love Bryan so much, but he's just not pushing back enough. Please, just call him a scumfuck, man. Call him, like, the worst shit you can think of.
racist past?
It's talked about
Tell him to drink
and
piss.
whispered, but they don't know it.
Whispered?
Yes.
So far, Bryan Cranston has not said he's...
Yes! Okay, white people in the audience, please heed my call. I need you, if you're watching this on the stream right now, or if you're watching this on YouTube after the fact, please affirm me in this. If you are white in the United States of America, can't speak for other countries, but definitely in the US, and you're around, like, the average suburbanite white family and they see a black person, do they or do they not make awkward comments about the black people that they see? It's crazy. It's crazy. It's like because I'm white, other white people will literally be like, oh yeah, like, for a black person, she was actually it's like, oh, okay, I guess, like, we're doing that now. Like, okay, we're just like the whites, right? Me and Whitey over here, right? We know. It's like, no, that's you have to affirm me in that, please. Witnessed that the other day in Walmart. Stop calling me out. I told you. See, this is science. I'm gathering data. Okay.
Single thing to define what critical race
This is like a study, if you think
The
about
year
it.
we're living in is
Peer
not...
review.
Drive me to drink.
It's not what you're describing.
critical race theory is.
The year we're living in is not...
Drive me to drink.
It's not what you're describing.
He looks like he's getting cornered here. I need a drink. Like,
No, I'm good.
You good?
It's tasty.
He's not getting cornered. He's just like, these are weird questions. Like, listen, Bryan Cranston is not like an activist or anything. He doesn't know the talking points. He doesn't understand that Bill Maher is trying to, like, do the anti-woke shtick. So I can forgive him. But he's just the griller, he's a griller. He's grill pilled. Okay. He's like, what are you talking about, Bill? Like, these are weird questions. Can we just, like, talk about how well done we like our steaks? Like, literally grill pilled. He's like, what did I come into?
he's not doing well, and I think he can feel it. This is usually how it goes with these conversations. They just
What do you mean he's not doing it? It's supposed to be a conversation, man. He didn't come here for a goddamn debate. He was like, oh, Bill Maher, I like loosely know that guy. I'll go on his show. And then, like, Bill Maher's like, so what do you think about trans people, huh? What do you think about, like, systemic racism and woke ideology and the LGBT, huh? Like, Bill did not come here for
on
this.
closer examination, they crumble, and this is what it looks like.
Because it's smoked and
Do you agree the transgenders made CRT? The transgenders, yes, they made CRT and they also worship Satan, and I love them for
Just
that.
upon closer examination, they crumble, and this is what it looks like.
because it's
love
smoked
that for them.
and not steamed.
Look at him trying to, like, change the subject.
Steamed
and everything.
hams.
Yeah. Anyway, what were we arguing about?
You were the one that was just talking about how it is essential that we have...
What? Why are you such a stick in the mud? He's being funny. That was hilarious.
Anyway, what were we arguing about?
You were the one that was just talking about how it is essential that we have critical race theory taught in schools.
Critical race
Who
theory,
fucking cares, man?
I think, is essential to be teaching.
And now it's, wait, what were we talking about? Now that you can't back anything up.
Right.
I think
He's just a normal dude. You're such a nerd, man. Like, what the is this? Who is this? Why does he have 300,000 subscribers? He does not deserve his audience. What the You're such a nerd, man. Like, what are you doing? Like, he's just a normal guy. This is terminal internet brain. Terminal. I diagnose you with touch grass right now. 3 minutes ago, in
the
fact.
problem with a lot of the left. They seem to be obsessed on the past. The past is important. It's not
Then
the
teach
only
it.
thing.
They teach it like the Holocaust.
Again,
You
I
wanna be
think
able to
most
teach it.
places
Yes!
do teach it. There are
Exactly.
places.
Exactly. Great point. That was actually brilliant. Alec deserves more views. Thank you. That was actually brilliant by Bryan Cranston. He's like, well, what about the Holocaust? Should we teach that? Like, you say the past isn't that important. It's like, what do you think about the Holocaust?
It's a massive leap from teaching history to critical race theory is essential in schools.
The people who are doing
Okay, we're operating on different definitions of critical race theory because you think it's whenever a black person is in a movie. Critical race theory has to do, it's only taught in colleges, mind you, but like Bryan Cranston is like, okay, well, when you guys say that critical race theory is bad, what you're talking about is like anything to do with racism. Like teaching racism at all is bad. Like that's what they mean. And so that's the definition he's operating on. Realistically, CRT is only taught in fucking college courses, but they've just co-opted the term just like DEI to mean like the N-word. So, you know,
teaching are of a generation that is not mostly interested in suppressing the past or being racist. I mean,
I disagree with that.
Disagree.
Nobody's interested in being racist. That's the point of systemic racism, you idiot.
In suppressing the past or being racist. I mean,
I disagree with that.
Disagree with that based on what? Who doesn't want to teach history? I don't.
Well, then you don't watch a lot of the videos that they themselves post.
Literally, like Ron DeSantis. Great example. Like he taught that like being a slave was a work program. Like, oh, they like sometimes they whipped them, but otherwise it was actually pretty good because if you think about it, like the blacks got to live on the farms and they had a roof over their head. And the farms, if you think about it, the farmers actually were supplying them with the means of production that they used to make a life for themselves. And then when they got free, when the whites gave them back their freedom, at the kindness of their hearts, be like, oh yeah, actually, we've decided you're human now, right? We've decided that you can now like live like the rest of us, but you don't get the shit that we had already from our daddies and mommies. You just like get, I guess, right? Like out of the kindness of our hearts, we're just going to make it so that you're no longer our property. Because there was no civil war over that or anything. There wasn't like, you know, farmers fighting tooth and nail to wrap their wrinkly little ass fingers around the necks of the blacks that they owned, right? To keep them on the farms. That didn't happen, okay? The whites gave them freedom out of the kindness of their hearts, okay? And said, yeah, you're fine now. You're human now. Cool. We're cool, right, brother? Like that's what happened. That's a history that your people want to teach, Bill Maher. You. We civilized them.
Teachers and educators.
You can watch my videos, Bryan Cranston. I'll talk about this.
They're
watch this guy's videos.
Aware
They're great.
Of race. If anything, it is injected too much into everything.
I agree. I agree with that.
I'm sure you do.
But you sound like
crazy how Bill Maher still calls himself a liberal when every conservative is like, well, I agree with everything he says. He's one of the good liberals.
You're more in the Hollywood woke camp, and
oh man, you gotta love Bill Maher. Can't believe you just said that to his face.
It seems
this guy pauses way too much. Can you believe that?
Seems like they feel like the worse I think things are, the better person I am. That's what I get from a lot of the left. You know, I think things are worse than you do. So
what did you
they
say?
feel
Hold
like
on.
The worse I think things are, the better person I am.
That's so good for you, man. People can't pay rent, man. They can't pay for their insulin medications, but I'm glad you, Bill Maher, feel like such a champ right now while my grandma's dying of a diabetic coma. That's great, Bill. You know what? That makes me feel better. Hey, Bill Maher feels great, guys. My grandma might be dead, but you know, that's good. I might not be able to afford eggs like without 2 weeks worth of pay, but you know, hey, at least like you're feeling good. That makes me feel good inside, Bill. I'm glad that you're feeling good.
That's what I get from a lot of the left, you know. I think things are worse than you do, so that's what makes me good. And, like, I just want the reality.
You know what makes me good, Bill, is that I want people to have healthcare. What do you want for people? Huh? What are you providing ideologically for like what you think people deserve? Because I think they deserve houses and medicine when they get cancer. I think they deserve to not go into debt. Crippling debt for the rest of their lives. It doesn't even disappear when they die. It gets passed on to their kids, right? That's what I want for people. I want them to not have that shit. What do you want? Huh?
Reality. I just want the truth. What is the truth of the situation?
He made the argument that there is systemic racism, not racism inherent within the human soul.
Certainly, it's a great thing that we've passed most of the laws that you would need. I mean, discrimination is illegal, has been for a very long time.
Oh,
We
good.
talk about
That means it is fixed now. That means you cured it. It's great.
systemic. We're talking about policy, the laws that are in place, the rules that are in place that govern society.
I mean,
Like the ones that said we own slaves and we can own slaves and we're allowed to own slaves and it's good to own slaves. Those laws, right? The ones that govern society and make things work. Because that's how they looked at it back then, is that this is just how things work. You know, we have the law that says slavery is good. The law, man. Like, f it. Like, listen, that doesn't mean that it's a good thing to do.
as opposed to these
Peace is not the same as justice. No justice, no peace.
errors you're talking about when it wasn't even the law.
Systemic. We're talking about policy, the laws that are in place, the rules that are in place that govern society.
I mean, as opposed to these errors you're talking about when it wasn't even the law.
Or because the laws have been corrected, they are no longer systemically racist in that sense.
There are people
There's literally been systemically racist laws that had nothing to do with race. Did you just say the other guy looks like Walter White's actor, Zeku? You know what? I think you're right. I think it does look like that guy. Good point. That's crazy.
who want to move forward without looking at the past. And when you move forward without looking at the past and course correcting, you're in trouble.
But what does
True.
course correcting look like beyond what we have already
Making sure you don't repeat it, dipshit. That's what he meant. Duh.
done?
Yeah.
When you look at this guy's hat, Make America Great Again,
You're
what
fine,
do you
Zeku.
think about that?
Walter
funny.
White is going to school us on white privilege.
There's a large swath of people in
For the record, I think white privilege is a bad name for it. This might be a hot take from me, but I feel like white privilege is a bad name for it because white people in general, like in the United States, most white people are also suffering. Not as bad as black people, mind you. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is like what you call white quote unquote privilege is that like white people have basic rights. That's not a privilege. It's like just what's expected, you know? I would instead call it like what would be like the black equivalent of like lack thereof, you know? It's like not lack of privilege, it's like lack of rights, right? Like almost like like black lives should like matter or something. Like Black Lives Matter. Oh, right. They didn't like that one. I forgot.
his camp and other people like him who have no clue that that's a dog whistle.
All right, you're going to have to break this down for me. How is Make America Great Again a racist dog whistle?
When was it great? When was it great? Let's hear it. Go on. Go on.
Come on.
No.
When was it great for
There
African
you go.
Americans in this country? When was it great?
Well, if you're applying for college now, I would say now.
As a con.
He's just a conservative, man. He's just a racist conservative at this point. Like that's all it is. Like literally, you tell colleges that like, hey man, you can't be racist anymore. Enroll some black people in your courses. You know, like you do with every other race. Maybe not every. Sorry, like you do with the pure white race, right? Like the Aryans or whatever the. Like do what you do with those people, but like with other people, you know, like with black people and other races and shit. Just do that, you know. What a great time to be alive for a black person that they get basic rights, right? Not even because like none of us have basic rights. If I want to get my teeth fixed, I have to pay like $500, but you know, me, I guess. But like, you know, the rights that we afford human beings at this point in history, at least they have that.
Consequence, they oftentimes have an advantage.
If you're a black kid applying to college, yeah, the people who are running
What is
things,
this music?
You know, I just don't think that's their mindset is let's be racist to people of color.
The music is like, I feel like, what can I compare this to? It's like I'm watching a commercial for like athletic shoes, where it's like, you want to run and you want to feel good while running, but sometimes your back pain gets in the way and impedes your progress. Introducing the Cool Shoe. The Cool Shoe is a new product. You know what I'm talking about? Like that's what I was thinking car commercial. Car commercial would work too. Car commercial is actually really good. It's like, with Elon Musk's new Cybertruck, you too can keep your family safe because we know that you're always on the road and you're always making stuff. Like it's yeah.
They don't understand it, but they are innately that way.
Innately?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh Lord. It is,
Innately
let's
what?
be racist to people of color.
They don't understand it, but they are innately that way.
Innately?
Yeah.
Like colleges? I guess like, Hold on. Let me run this back one more time. Sorry.
oftentimes have an advantage.
If you're a black kid applying to college, yeah, the people who are running things, you know, I just don't think that's their mindset is, let's be racist to people of color.
They don't understand it, but they are innate.
It sounds like Bryan Cranston's had one too many, but I get his point. If you're reading this in good faith, he's not trying, once again, we went over this at the beginning, but like, he's not trying to say that you are like genetically predisposed to be racist. What he's saying is that innately is the wrong word. Sub that out with subconsciously. They are subconsciously racist. That's fair to say. And I think that's what he meant. But again, Bryan Cranston is a griller, okay? He is cooler than you. He is cooler than me. He is more normal and chill than either of us, okay? You're watching me, okay? Not even like Hasanabi. You're watching Alec Gunter on YouTube. That's not normal, okay? You're like one of a very small percentage of freaks who watch me for political content, mind you. So like, Bryan Cranston is way more normal and cool than you. I'm just letting you know that. So like, he doesn't understand the implications of what he's saying, and the way that like conservative freaks are even less cool than we are, which we've established, right? Somehow even less cool than we are, we'll take out of context. He's a griller. He's cool. Bill Maher is not cool. Nobody likes Bill Maher except for people like this son of a bitch. What is his name again? Warren Smith. Who likes Bill Maher? Warren Smith. Like, it's like, what horse are you backing, man? This is pathetic.
That way.
Innately?
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
There we go. All right. See, we can't even understand it. It's so
There we go.
ingrained within us. I am
Anti-white
just
racism.
innately racist. So therefore, I can't even begin to address it. I can't begin to see it. That makes dialogue.
No good faith interpretation whatsoever. I'll give them like, yeah, that was the wrong word. I'll accept that. But like, you know what he meant, man.
Impossible. And this is what is dangerous about critical race theory.
Innately, like original sin, like we're toxically white born racist.
Not toxically.
Okay,
You
clarification.
You recognize your experience. And and what we don't recognize often is the privilege.
People that are taller have privilege. People that are attractive have privilege.
Yeah, like, you know, remember when tall people were enslaved? And then like the short people who enslaved all the tall people were like, yeah, you can be free. Yeah. Oh yeah, you can be free. Yeah. Why don't you fuck off with no money and no property and see how you do, right? And then all the short people were like, well, we have no money, no property. And then the tall people were like, oh yeah, you know, that's true actually. Yeah, that's true. Why don't you come back and work for us? You know, we'll pay you like 5 cents every day, and you can do what you did before, and just, you know, just be slaves, but not really slaves. You like, you know, you're like indentured servants or like you know, employees, or that didn't happen to short people, man. It's fucking stupid.
Congress. Look at the makeup of Congress. You cannot deny that is older white men are the predominant factor in Congress.
And I'd like to see the numbers in Congress. Certainly in the...
Okay. Let's see the numbers in Congress. The 119th Congress has the most racial and ethnic diversity in history. Number of non-white U.S. House and Senate members is the 100... Yeah, so this is from this year. Okay, let's take a look. Okay, so this is the 119th right here. So 66 black members, 53 Hispanic, 21 Asian American and Pacific Islander, 4 Native American and Alaska Native. U.S. House and Senate members. So hold on, I don't know the total of House. It's 100 senators. Total Congress members. 435 plus 100 is 535. So let's do the math, shall we? Calculator. 535. Hold on, no. It's 66 divided by 535. 12.3%. That's pretty close to the black population, right? Percentage of black people in America. 14.4%. So it's a little lower. We're getting close, though. We're getting close. Was it 12.3? 12.3 as opposed to 14.4? That's closer than it was, you know? But like 10 years ago, we're looking at 41 as opposed to 66. So like, yeah, it's getting better, but like, Trump ain't gonna help that. So it's still like lower than the overall population of the United States, I must say. So you know, we could still do a little better. We could stand to do a little better. Yeah, the gap's closing, but it still exists. Exactly. And it's definitely not getting better under a Trump presidency. I promise you that.
Democratic Party, I bet you they're at least representative percentage-wise.
I would say so.
I would say so. You're contradicting yourself.
Look at the makeup of Congress.
Now it does reflect the division in society.
Okay.
Yeah.
Liberalism is about lifting.
We are only looking at black people, by the way. I guarantee the other races were not like the other races were not nearly as presented.
People up.
Represented.
Woke isn't just about self-loathing and hating yourself and scolding everybody and virtue.
Wait. Wokeism is just about that stuff?
Liberalism is about lifting people up. Woke isn't just about self-loathing and hating yourself and scolding everybody and virtue signaling. It doesn't actually help.
I just like every time somebody is like, well, you believe in woke shit, I'm like, I break it down by policy. I'm like, okay, what specific thing do I believe in that you don't like? You know, like, is it systemic racism? You don't think systemic racism exists? Okay, let's talk about it. How, you know, like, what's the income percentage of white people versus black people? Why do you think that is? Oh, it's because of their own fault? Okay, you're racist. Like, that's usually how the conversation goes. And then they'll try to bring up things like, oh, black culture, you know, like black culture, they rap and they daddy leave, like that, like it's black culture, man. And it's like, okay, the only reason the culture would be like that is either external factors that caused it to be like that, or internal factors because you think that they're genetically inferior. Like, those are the only two explanations. Okay, so either you're a fucking racist or you acknowledge that systemic racism exists. That's how it works, you know. Like, that's what you call woke. Like, what else do you think is woke that you disagree with? Please, I'm all ears.
Anybody. They don't like this unrelenting negativism about this country. They're
I'm
like,
so
you know what?
big.
You just said you agree with that, and yet you're saying when has America ever been great? America's not great. We have inherent racists within us.
All you people do
He never
is
said
shit on
America's
your
not
own
great.
country and tell me how horrible it is.
So how can we bridge the chasm that has been created between this divisive world that we live in?
Stop looking at it through a racial lens. Stop calling people black man.
He didn't even say anything about race that time. The world is divided. Like, this was uploaded 12 days ago. You understand that the United States is like more politically divided than it has been in its entire history, right? Like, practically. I'm pretty sure I'm right on that. Like at no point in time have we been more politically divided as a country. He didn't say anything about race.
Or a white man don't and strive to be colorblind. But critical race theory claims that to strive to be colorblind is a vile thing to do. And
because you're this is like saying, like, listen, I'm going to, like, if you're like a 12th grader and you're bullying like a 4th grader and shoving his head in a toilet, and then like you do that for a year and then you stop, right? You're just like, okay, I'm just going to stop doing this now. I've decided I'm going to stop doing this now. Okay. And then like the 4th grader is like, well, you shoved my head in a toilet for a year. Like, you don't think that affected me somehow? Like, you shoved my head in a toilet for a year. My cognitive development is I have trust issues now. I don't want to come to school. I'm traumatized for life. Like, and the bully's just like, well, that was in the past, man. That was in the past. You don't think about that. What are you talking about? You're literally just trying to build walls between us, man. That's crazy that you would say that. That's insane. And it's like, no, that's not insane. That's very reasonable, actually. Don't forget the past. Okay, like it's when you strive to be colorblind, you are literally saying the past does not matter. It doesn't matter. Like you make like 3 times less than the average white person. Now, this doesn't matter. It's fine. Like, I don't know if it's 3 times. Somebody correct me on that. But the point is, oh, you make less money than like the average white person. Who cares, man? Like, just get over it, I guess. Like, be colorblind. Be colorblind. Oh, like there's some people who make less money than other people, and some people who die at higher rates of violent crime and disease than other people, and we don't like really know the races of these people because we're colorblind, right? Like, no, that's actually pretty stupid when you put it that way. I think color of people's skin is sometimes really important when we're talking about like demographic patterns.
It's racist. So you have just disproven your own argument. You have just made an argument for why critical race theory should not be taught in schools.
That's so stupid, man. I spent way too long on that. It was fun, though. I feel like I dragged him through mud and back, so This is pretty good. You know, that was a W in my book.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please be sure to hit the like button, subscribe if you want to see more, hit the notification bell to be notified when I upload. If you enjoy my content, you enjoy what I do, I really appreciate any financial help that I can get. Go to youtube.com/AlecGunterTTV/join. You got some awesome benefits, such as seeing early videos, awesome emotes that you can use in the comments of YouTube videos, and a sweet badge next to your name. So if that sounds interesting to you, I'd really appreciate if you join. It is cheaper than the cost of a blowjob from your mom. So with all that being said, thank you again for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.